What does a tapeworm have in common with the Eiffel Tower? They're both parasites. Mike with Iceberg Gaming here with the best, maybe the only way to farm raw gold left in the game. Now for this farm, I am going to be vendoring everything. Now this is not necessarily the wisest way to go about things, but just to give you guys an idea of the raw gold amount on this farm, I'm just going to vendor everything. And for comparison purposes, and to get some math at the end, I am starting this run with 7,503,781.28 gold on hand. I am going to give you a gold per hour value, even though technically you cannot farm this for an hour, so you won't make this amount of gold in an hour since this is an instance run, but it's just for comparison purposes. Don't take it too literally. Step 1 of this farm is the Terrance of Endless Springs, located on the continent of Pandaria in the Veiled Stairs zone. And we are starting off this farm just by running this instance on normal mode or heroic or whatever. It doesn't really matter. You're going to get about the same amount of gold either way. I do recommend that you bring a level 60 to this farm, but you can do this farm with like a level 50. It's just a little bit harder. The only annoying part and downside to this instance is that you have to sit through quite a bit of roleplay, but I think it's worth it. That instance took us around 4 minutes, and we earned around 700 gold. Next stop, we are flying to the LFR vendor NPC. It's not a vendor, it's just an NPC. This NPC is also on Pandaria, in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, on the top level of the Mugu Shan Palace. We're going to enter in through this door, and then we are talking to Lorewalker Shin. Actually, Lorewalker Shan is who we need. Lorewalker Han, I'm sorry. The name was obscured by the background, but it's Lorewalker Han, the raid finder storyteller. And we are going to queue up for the Terrance of Endless Spring. And this is the same instance we just did, but it's on LFR mode. Another 4-ish minutes and another 700-ish gold later, we have completed the unrepeatable part of the instance. So we're just going to go ahead and leave the instance group here to get back to the raid finder NPC. Now, the rest of this farm is repeatable, but with a caveat. So let's get into it, and I will talk about that along the way. So next, we are queuing for the Dread Approach to the Heart of Fear, and we're just going to do this until we hit instance lockout. And here we are in the Heart of Fear, and we're just killing the trash on the way to the first couple bosses here. Now, for the way that I do this and what I think is the best way to do this farm, I have a video specifically for that on my channel. Check it out. I will leave a link in the usual places. Now, the reason that I say this is repeatable, but with a caveat, is because I actually, instead of just stopping with just the trash, I actually kill the first 2 bosses in this. And you only get loot from the bosses the first time per week. So after the first time we kill the boss, we're not going to get any loot, but I still think it's worth it, and I'm going to show you why. After killing the first boss, we're going to come over here and head towards the second boss. And once we get there, we're going to go ahead and kill off the mini boss guys, named guys in front of him, and that will make all these guys along the side run to us. So we'll just sit here and pop our Starfall, and they will get killed. Now, the first time I do this per week, I also go ahead and end up killing the second boss here, just for the little extra raw gold from selling his loot. And then we're going to exit the instance and do it again. Now, notice that we are able to get loot from the trash. But when we kill the boss, it says there's loot, but when there's nothing on the body and we get nothing coming into our inventory. Some people skip this second part here, but I think it's worth it to come over here and just kill these mobs real quick. but I do not bother with the second boss on subsequent run-throughs. Note that you do not have to reset the instance after each run on this farm since we're queuing through the LFR. If and when you are doing this farm, make sure you double check the loot. I have had a lot of times where, especially this platform here, I haven't picked up the loot, and I think I might have missed it on a couple of runs, or I had to go back at least once or twice, but I think I might have even missed some loot on one or two of the runs. So just something to be aware of if and when you try this farm out. And also, when you're doing the second room, make sure you let everything come to you before you hit your AoE. Otherwise, you'll have to waste some time running around collecting loot. I guess technically this is a third room? Anyway, the room by the second boss. Once you have hit lockout, you will get this message here. Someone in your party has entered too many instances recently, and that means you know you're done. It took me just under a half hour to complete this farm. And I vendored everything except for a few lock boxes, a couple of battle pets that we can sell in the auction house. These actually sell pretty well, but they're soulbound, so you're going to have to put them in cages, and a very nice stack of motes of harmony. And our ending gold on hand value is 7,506,324.06, which means we earned 2,575.78 raw gold in a half hour, which means we would earn about 5,151.56 gold per hour in pure raw gold, not including the battle pets, the motes of harmony, or anything out of the lockboxes. Now, that is not much in the grand scheme of things as far as gold per hour goes, but it is actually very good for raw gold. Since raw gold was nerfed by Blizzard, that is about the best you're going to do. That is a very good raw gold number, so if you're looking for raw gold, this is the farm for you. Something to keep in mind also is that I vendored a few things that I would not have normally vendored if I were not doing this for pure raw gold for the video. There were a couple items I would have kept to try to sell, or I probably would have disenchanted a lot of the greens, but since I was doing a raw gold farm for you guys, I went ahead and vendored everything, including a couple of patterns that might have sold on the auction house for a little bit more than they vendored for, but in terms of raw gold, this is it. In terms of gold, we have no gold. Thank you so much for watching. Special thank you to my YouTube members, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you for making this channel possible.